Hi, everybody. Welcome to The Right Side with Doug Billings. Thanks very much for watching from around the planet, coming to you from smack dab in the middle of the fruited plain in the United States. Today on the program, Clay Clark will join me in just a few moments, the founder of the Re-Awaken America Tour. Also today, ladies and gentlemen, the Supreme Court comes out with another ruling that will help to lock down and suppress the illegal immigrant flow. I'm going to get into details about that. This is a big issue, and it's an issue that the Supreme Court and Congress is going to have to face along with Donald Trump in the future. Plus, we're going to talk about vice presidential candidates again. That is obviously in the news as we approach the July 11th date of the Republican National Convention and whether or not President Trump will be in jail or under house arrest or under probation, whatever the radical left is going to do there. My thoughts on that coming up. Ladies and gentlemen, The Right Side with Doug Billings is now upon you. Are you ready? Let's go.
Hey everybody, my name is General Mike Flynn, and I'm here to do a big shout out for my great friend and one of the best in the business, Mr. Doug Billings. Right side with Doug Billings, right side with Doug Billings. Doug is the future of the airwaves when it comes to independent broadcasters and podcasters. He is the new Rush Limbaugh. He's exactly what America needs right now, looking for honesty, looking for wisdom, looking for truth, looking for patriotism. Listen to Doug Billings at Right Side with Doug Billings. God bless you and God bless America, and thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are winning. We're winning, winning, winning. Welcome to The Right Side with Doug Billings. Are you ready?
We are not liberal snowflakes who melt away in the face of tragedy, adversity, and challenge. We are a covenant nation under God, and His divine providence is not dead and it's not gone. It is living within each and every one of you. And you will bring it to life in such a way that the world has never seen before. We never back down. We never give up. We march forward.
Hi, everybody. All right. Welcome to The Right Side. Here we go. Thank you very much. Friday, the first full day of summer. Ladies and gentlemen. And I'm inviting you to call in today. We're going to talk to you about the issues that the Supreme Court has decided, rulings coming down from them regarding illegal immigration, the vice president of President Trump, who will that be and why, and who's not on the list and should be. And Clay Clark, my friend, the founder of the Re-Awaken America Tour and the Thrive Time Show, will be a guest here in just a few moments. So make sure that you dial in 901-316-8404, the phone number where you can participate in the program that creates the most intellectually mature audience in all of podcast land, ladies and gentlemen. 901-316-8404. You want your degree in intellectual maturity? Watch, listen, and especially call into the program. Also, DougBillings.us, ladies and gentlemen. That is your hub for everything that we do. DougBillings.us, the website. And it is the place where you can watch the show live. You can see it streamed there live. There's a shopping center over there. Also, donate to help us continue to put forth the truth that the legacy media will not show you, that they will go out of their way to hide from you the truth. The show, we give it to you for free. All we do is ask for a donation. So whatever you think the show is worth, head on over to DougBillings.us, click on the donate tab over there, and prayerfully consider a recurring monthly donation so that we can continue, please, to bring you this program. So, all right. So if you didn't hear already, the Supreme Court today came down with a 6-3 ruling that it denied an appeal that was aimed at allowing a United States citizen whose spouse was denied the opportunity to get an immigrant visa and become a United States citizen. Now, there's various reasons why that application for citizenship was denied, primarily because the person, the spouse, the illegal spouse of the legal citizen. Let me make sure I get this straight for you, right? We have a legal United States citizen who has a spouse who is not an American citizen. Okay, from Mexico coming up. They applied for a citizenship visa there. They were denied because, believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, and gosh, I don't know why we would deny an application for someone who belongs to the MS-13 crime syndicate, the drug cartel and the gang, the MS-13 gang, one of the most deadly gangs that come out of Mexico. Oh yeah, he's a member of that gang, so we're not going to let him come in. Now, these things are unrefutable. You cannot appeal these things. But this lady did. She went to the Supreme Court, and the decision held that a United States citizen does not does not have a legal right to bring a foreign spouse into the country. You don't have a right to do that. Thank goodness. Some more intellectual maturity coming out of the Supreme Court. This is why it's important that we get President Trump back in. The court finally upholding common sense. The majority opinion was written by Justice Amy Coney Barrett, and as you would guess, the commu-socialist justices, Sonia Sotomayor, Elena Kagan, and the woman who doesn't know how to tell who a woman or a man is, Ketanji Brown Jackson, they all dissented from that majority opinion, as you would guess, but it prevails nonetheless. The case is called the Department of State versus Munoz, and it concerns the doctrine of what they call consular non-reviewability, which is a legal principle and a term that when the United States Consular's Office makes a decision to refuse a visa to a foreigner, that decision is not subject to judicial review. So the Supreme Court upheld that. And as I said at the beginning of the top of the show here, that particular case involved a spouse who was a member of the MS-13 crime organization and that has been infiltrating the United States even before Biden opened the borders, but even more so since. And it's again shining a light on the absolute nonsense, the absolute intellectual immaturity coming out of the Biden administration. So, folks, it's going to be important beginning next year. One of the things that President Trump is going to have to consider is that as it stands now, people who are born in the United States, you all, I'm sure, are aware of this. People who are born here are automatically United States citizens. For you and for me, for people who come into the country legally, this is not a problem. But for the 20 million people who have come into this country illegally during the last 4 years, this is a huge issue. President Trump, the Supreme Court, and Congress are all going to have to grapple with this issue over the next several years. We're going to have to change or amend current law regarding this entire piece of legislation. We cannot, ladies and gentlemen, I know that you all, with those of you, the mass majority of you, I know have common sense. We cannot, as a sovereign nation, allow illegal immigrants to come in here, have children, only because they were born here, then they become United States citizen. The children of illegal immigrants should not, and ladies and gentlemen, they must not be granted the honor and the right of American citizenship. To allow that kind of a situation to develop and expand would continue to expedite the very dilution of the watering down of our American identity, which is the goal of the communist-socialist, formerly known as Democrat Party. That is their goal. They're all about that. It's their fundamental transformation of America that Barack Obama first made public from their policy platform and politics. We've seen since the time of our founding fathers how we are a nation of laws. We are a nation of law and order. We are an incredible blessing to the world. And we are not the only blessing. There are other countries that bless the world, but the incredible blessing of American citizenship can't be diluted. It can't be watered down. It can't be scandalized by giving it to illegals to begin the very process of American citizenship by breaking the law. It makes no sense. Now, this has nothing to do with compassion. Of course, we are compassionate conservatives. We are the party of God and the founding fathers. We understand how to lift people up out of their despair. The radical left, look at what they do. They pretend as if they care, and they give away free stuff, right? The entitlements, free education, free money. We're going to forgive your student loan debt, which is in the news again today. We're going to give you free health care, free housing, free clothing, free money. Just sit at home and do nothing, and we'll take care of you. Now, that does nothing to build up dignity within a human being. It does everything to instill a sense of slavery and dependency. And again, people with intellectual maturity understand this. They want these people to be beholden to them and enslaved to them for their vote. We'll give you all the free stuff you want. Hey, by the way, vote for us. Illegals coming across the border, take this box of ballots. Fill them out. Give them out to your family, your friends, people that came over the border with, and give them to that guy in the white van over there. That's what's going on. And this entire situation that the Supreme Court talks about today in their ruling, spouses, legal American citizen spouses, have no right to bring their spouses over here. It has to be a case-by-case basis. We assess these people as they make application for American citizenship because we have to vet them. We need to vet them. We are duty-bound to vet them. We cannot continue to let just anybody come in. So, ladies and gentlemen, one of the ways that this will help President Trump in his effort to launch the largest deportation system in America is that, believe it or not, because of rulings like today, you're going to see many hundreds of thousands of people who are here illegally or thinking of bringing someone over who's not yet legally an American citizen, who are going to reconsider their ways. Now, it's not going to apply to the vast majority. I get it, okay? Bear with me here. But you're going to see some people who want to do it the right way and the legal way follow the directives that are now set forth. And if that means going back to their home country to fill out the paperwork and wait for decisions, that's what they will do because they are good people. They're law-abiding people. Now, in reality, believe me, I know the majority of people who are here who want to acquire citizenship and they've been here illegally are not going to just voluntarily go back to where they came from. I get it. I know it. We're going to have to work our way through that. I think there will be a deportation effort. I think it's going to happen in individual states. There will be blue states who don't comply and will do everything they can to make themselves these sanctuary cities. We'll deal with that through executive order or other means and mechanisms, but it is an issue that the Supreme Court is aware of. Obviously, by the ruling today, you do not have a right to come over here if you're illegal. You don't, even if your spouse is an American citizen. So this is all good news. It's just another step along the way. We're not done. We have a lot of work to do, but you get it. And it's because of your involvement. The reason Trump is here, the reason Trump is running, the reason he was president, the reason he will be again. It's because of you. It's because of your local involvement. These are the victories that we need to cling to for hope. Remember, in 2023, there were 14 states that outlawed critical race theory in their school curriculums precisely because you good people got involved in your local school boards. This is what I call determined patriotism. It's the hard work of it all. I understand that nobody in their right mind wants to go sit through a 3-hour school board meeting after a long day at work. I understand it. But you good people do it. And the fruit of that labor is that now 14 states have outlawed critical race theory in their schools. And look what happened in Louisiana yesterday. The 10 Commandments must be displayed in public schools. It is as the founders intended. And that causes liberal heads to explode. Every single one of the founding fathers wanted God, the Bible, theology, Latin, arithmetic, civics, the arts, and so forth to be taught in the public schools. I talked about this yesterday. Look at their public writings. Look at their private writings. Look at the early school curriculums of colonial and early America, all filled with study of the Bible. And then people say, you know, they take the Thomas Jefferson quote out of context. There was no, Thomas Jefferson did not mean that God and religion should be separate from the government or the society. They all wanted the divine providence of God to be part of the fabric of America and Christian approaches and principles, because people today, well, what about Muslims? What about Hindus? How come we can't have? Because the founders did not want that. They wanted Christian principles to be taught and to be expounded upon in and part of the public debate in the public institutions in this country. Not Muslims, not Hindus, not Islam, nothing. No, thank you. So that debate can be answered in courts, and it probably will. It will come up because there will be kooks out there who say that if the Christian people can do it, then so can Muslims. We're going to have to interpret that according to the United States. I know freedom of religion, freedom of all of that exists in our Constitution. But we have to also take into account what was the intent of the Founding Fathers. And there's a lot to be said behind the words on the written page with regards to intent. It was a Christian intent, not a Muslim intent, not a Hindu intent, but a Christian one. And that's the truth. And so the Conservative Party can take great pride with humility, great humble pride in knowing that we now are the only major political party in this country that can claim God and the founding fathers. The liberal, radical, commune socialist, formerly known as Democrat Party, cannot do that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, going to take a quick break. We're going to be back with Clay Clark, ladies and gentlemen. Clay Clark, you're not going to want to miss it. We've already got some phone callers on the line, so we'll make sure that we have some callers in for Clay. If you want to join the program, 901-316-8404. 901-316-8404. We're going to take your calls. The Right Side with Doug Billings will continue as you take this glorious trek through capitalism. I'll be right back with Clay Clark. Cheers.
twc.health/Brandon. This is one of our sponsors, has been now for a few years. Here it is. You just go there. If you use that URL, folks, you not only save money, but our program gets credit, which helps us keep doing great shows like this for free and pushing them out. twc.health/Brandon. Look up here at the top of the page where it says Med Kits. Go down there to the one that says Contagion Emergency Kit. Contagion Emergency Kit. That's the one you want, right, Dr. McCullough?
Right. That's going to cover bird flu. Just you start on day one. I think all the animal workers, people in rural areas need to have these. You can't wait around for the pharmacist. If you start early, that comes with telemedicine. We can intensify the antivirals, get other drugs going. Very affordable. Join through Brandon's website. Join as a member because we're working on ways to replace the used drugs, and you have to be a member to get that advantage.
Hello, I'm Brandon House. Melissa and I have been taking Bella Grace, this powerful elixir, since last fall, 2023. The results have been amazing. My hands would crack and bleed, deep cuts and cracks every winter for years. No matter what we did, we couldn't get them to stop cracking and bleeding. This year, I took Bella Grace, no cracking, no bleeding. My acid reflux, gone. Haven't had to take a Pepsid. My hair growth, the last 2 times I had my hair cut, the lady had to use thinning shears on my hair. That's amazing. We've also received incredible feedback from you, our listening audience, and the impact it's had for you. This is loaded with astaxanthin. That's a powerful antioxidant. Collagen, but top grade collagen. Studies show 95% of it is being absorbed in the body because of the way they develop it. Then we have something called cat's claw. That's an anti-inflammatory from a vine in Peru. It's the bark, and it's an anti-inflammatory. There are about 80 clinical trials on Bella Grace. Please get a subscription now and save. MelissaHouseBG.com.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back. Right Side with Doug Billings here, fulfilling the meaning of life, entering into your life to make differences for the better, and you doing it for me as well. Hey, fulfilling my life. I'm appreciative of you. I love the fact that you're out there with us every day, Monday through Friday. The show now live, taking calls, DougBillings.us. Head over there, click on the donate button, prayerfully consider a recurring monthly donation. I would like to introduce to you all, he needs no introduction, and you've all met him before on this program, that's for sure, Clay Clark, who is the founder of the Thrive Time Show and the Re-Awaken America tour. You can find Clay and information about the tour on timetofreeamerica.com. Without further ado, always interesting, always exciting, always thoroughly researched, the one, the only, Clay Clark. Clay, welcome back to the Right Side, my friend.
Hey, thank you so much, man. I really do appreciate you. Are we taking calls today? Is that what we're doing?
We are going to take a couple of calls. We got a couple in the queue, but whenever you're ready, yeah.
I like taking calls, so I'm ready for calls. If you have a call in the queue, let's do it.
Let's do it, Clay. All right. Well, we got Ed from Florida is on the line. Ed, come on down. Welcome back to the Right Side, Ed.
Hello. I'm so excited to be on. I love Clay Clark. I see him on various other outlets from time to time. Was going to talk about your Supreme Court thing today if you wanted to, or I'd like to talk about how to dump the voter fraud thing that's going on, or I'd like to talk about getting the Republican convention ahead of the jail sentence for President Trump, or I'd like to talk about getting free. I could go on. Yeah.
Ed, let's take the last one there. Let's talk a little bit about the decision that is facing President Trump, the sentencing of President Trump. I want to get Clay's take on what his thoughts are on this. I have said I think that the radical left, why stop where they are now? Why would they go through and up to this point just to say, okay, got him. We only wanted the convictions. See you all later. I think they're going to put him in jail. Clay, what are your thoughts?
I really, really shy away from ever guessing. I'm a big fact guy. So let's get into some facts, which I think back what you just said, Doug. One is you have the president of the United States, the 45th president of the United States, Donald J. Trump, is way up in the polls. And he appears to be gaining traction with black voters. The last polls I saw, and I don't recommend everyone reads Al Jazeera every day, but Al Jazeera is reporting that Trump has earned 20% of the black vote, just to show you how big of a change that is. When Barack Obama ran to be the president of the United States, he received 99% of the black vote. When President Trump ran to be president of the United States, he received 8% of the black vote. So to be at 20% of the black vote, that's pretty incredible. You're beginning to see more and more moderates who are discovering that the Hunter Biden laptop was in fact real. Now, Doug, you reported that early and often on your show, but for whatever reason, the Hunter Biden's team has just dropped the lawsuit against Mayor Rudy Giuliani, and for some reason, the mainstream media is now just reporting that the Hunter Biden laptop is in fact real, that it was real, that it factually existed, thus proving the corruption of the Biden administration. So many people claim that they would have voted for President Trump if they would have known that the Biden laptop was real during the last election. So those are just a few inflection points. So to your point, Doug, I would see no reason as to why these people have worked so hard to put President Donald J. Trump in a situation where he has now been convicted of 34 counts. I don't know why they would stop at this point and say, oh, okay, we're going to let it go. We're fine. We're good here. No big deal. I really do believe they're going to try to limit his ability to campaign because he is the most effective campaigner, fundraiser, speaker, orator, communicator that I believe that we've seen in my generation. And so I believe they're going to try to hamstring him in some capacity.
That could mean things like house arrest, Clay. I mean, they might do that. What I'm gathering, I had Eric Trump and General Flynn together on the show last week, and they're bracing for anything, any possibility. It will not prevent President Trump from campaigning. He'll figure out a way to do it, but it probably expedites his decision for a vice president. Will he wait to the convention on July 11th? Who knows? Will he announce that beforehand?
Well, okay, just as an example, though, about going back to what you said again, you're 100% spot on here. You look at Rudy Giuliani, friend of ours, friend of the program. I know he loves your program as well. Rudy Giuliani, I mean, look at what they've done to him. I mean, they've made him basically declare bankruptcy. He's lost his entire life's fortune. And now they say, yeah, you're right. The Hunter Biden laptop was real, and we're going to withdraw that lawsuit. What were they doing? They were derailing him. They were draining him financially. They were draining him of his time. They were keeping Rudy Giuliani from performing at his best, right? That's what they were doing. When you look at Eric Trump, and I'm sure Eric shared with you on your podcast, for anybody who didn't see that interview that you did with General Flynn and Eric Trump, they should go watch it. But Eric Trump talked about having received well over 100 subpoenas, right? What are they doing? They're draining him of his time and his finances. So what are they doing right now? They're trying to drain President Trump of his time and his finances. And so what we're doing, Doug, I know you're doing it with your broadcast. I'm doing it with my broadcast. I know Tucker Carlson's doing it with his tour, and we're doing it with the Re-Awaken tour. What we're trying to do, and I encourage everybody, if they go to timetofreeamerica.com, timetofreeamerica.com, your listeners can learn more about it. What I'm trying to do is to provide a platform for people like Peter Navarro that weren't allowed to speak because they were in prison. So Peter Navarro is going to be speaking at that final Re-Awaken America tour, October 18th and 19th in beautiful North Carolina, Selma, North Carolina. And those tickets can be grabbed at timetofreeamerica.com. I'm trying to give a platform for Rudy Giuliani to share the truth about what's going on because he wasn't able to, because he was caught in constant litigation. I'm trying to give an opportunity for Alina Habba to share what's going on as it relates to saving our country. And she wasn't able to do that to a certain extent because she was stuck in a cold courtroom. I'm trying to allow a platform for more and more people to be heard they were trying to mute their voice. And if you look at it in July, President Trump will be sentenced on July 11th. Also in July, Peter Navarro will be getting out of prison, and Steve Bannon is supposed to be reporting to prison in July. So a lot of fireworks in July, and I just pray that God will have mercy on this country and that God will continue to wake up people so that we can save this country.
Well, and that's what you're doing. TimeToFreeAmerica.com, ladies and gentlemen. Head over there for more information about the tour, the Re-Awaken America Tour, TimeToFreeAmerica.com. And Clay, I've always been so proud to be with you on those events. Whenever I can make it up there, I'm always so happy. We've got to, I think, plan for this event in North Carolina. I know you've got a hard stop here in just a few minutes. Yep. What's one or two of the items that you think are out there that we need to know in 3 minutes or less?
Okay, well, here you go. There's an attack on our health, our wealth, and our actual country. All right. So health, what do I mean? Bird flu. If you haven't seen it, folks, bird flu, more and more headlines are fear mongering right now. They're trying to convince us that bird flu is coming for America. The CDC is now testing your wastewater using their CDC dashboard, and they're declaring that alpaca, that chickens, that cows, that birds, that dogs, that cats have bird flu. In Michigan, they've already laid off 400 workers at the largest poultry plant in Michigan due to bird flu. Iowa has already euthanized 4.2 million chickens due to bird flu. So you're pushing the attack on our health, the attack on our wealth. Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, these countries have been de-dollarizing. They moved off of they've teamed up together. They've decided to hoard the earth's gold for the past 17 years. And under Putin's leadership since January 1st, the BRICS countries have officially added Dubai, Saudi Arabia, Iran, Ethiopia, Egypt. They have plans to add 50 plus additional countries. So they're de-dollarizing. They're moving away from the dollar. So they're attacking our wealth. They're attacking our health. And finally, you're beginning to see more of a radicalization of these BRICS countries. They're acting together financially and militarily, and they are basically teaming up against the United States and Israel. So I encourage everybody out there, if you can, one, pray for the country. Pray for the country. If you haven't prayed for the country, pray for the country. Two, if you haven't subscribed to the Right Side with Doug Billings podcast, subscribe to this podcast. Never miss a broadcast, because Doug, you consistently bring the truth. And then finally, if you haven't joined us on the Re-Awaken America Tour, or you want to join us again, get those tickets at TimeToFreeAmerica.com. And I'm not attacking any other events that have a hard pricing model, but for our model, you can name your price. Every single person out there, you can name your price, pay whatever price you want, kind of a donation model. You can get those tickets at TimeToFreeAmerica.com. That's TimeToFreeAmerica.com. And Doug, you are the best. I really do appreciate you.
Clay Clark, you are an American patriot, one of the refounders of America. I really do mean that. It's an honor to know you and your family. God bless you, my friend. And we'll get you back on the program again. Love to see you. Take good care, my brother.
Take care, Doug. Bye-bye.
All right. So that's Clay Clark, ladies and gentlemen. Right. And we had to zip through that. A lot of information. It's important. TimeToFreeAmerica.com is his website. If you want to go on these Re-Awaken America tours, you want to experience the premier American Patriot Tour going on now. Check it out. TimeToFreeAmerica.com. So where we left off in the program, ladies and gentlemen, was with the Supreme Court. I want to segue for a moment out of that. But first, we have an issue with this illegal immigration problem that I really need to say out loud. And with crime and law and order and all of that kind of combined into one bucket with regards to what this commu-socialist, formerly known as Democrat Party, is doing. Because as we look across the landscape of America, specifically at the border and with issues of law and order, wherever they may be, you may have heard that in New York, Alvin Bragg, remember that guy? Remember Alvin Bragg? Yeah, it sounds familiar, doesn't it? The pro-Palestinian riots and so forth they had up in New York at college campuses. Remember this a couple months ago? Crime, vandalism, arson, anarchy, all of it perpetrated by these pro-Palestinian radicals who marched and encamped themselves on these campuses, not just in New York, but New York made the news because Alvin Bragg, in all of his liberal commu-socialist wisdom, has decided to drop all charges of violence, arson, and anarchy against this group. And this is the problem. It illustrates what they do. Radical left district attorneys and states attorneys general do not prosecute criminals. They are absolutely afraid of the woke liberal agenda, and they want to bolster that agenda. And today, a withdrawal of all charges, absolutely maddening and infuriating. All right, up against another break, reminding you, first of all, DougBillings.us, ladies and gentlemen, the website. Head over to DougBillings.us, watch the program, donate to the program. We do need your assistance to continue to bring you the truth. There is a donate tab. Prayerfully consider whatever you think the show may be worth, because we give it to you for free. You're watching it free now on X and on Facebook, on Rumble, and other platforms. DougBillings.us. We need your help to continue the show. Other than that, stay with me. A lot more to talk about, including the specifics behind the choice of vice presidency for both Biden and Trump. Coming right back at you. Believe it. Cheers.
The Right Side with Doug Billings.
Ladies and gentlemen, what if I told you that you could change the trajectory of your aging process? Look and feel better, live younger, be more active, less pain when you move around, sleep better, diminish the lines and the wrinkles on your face? Really? This is what I'm telling you. It's possible. You see, low stem cell activity happens when we get older, and it could be causing many of the health problems that some people have in the world today. Because as we get older, we have less stem cell activity, which means we age faster and we heal slower. The secret is a clinically proven and patented phototherapy non-transdermal patch, whose technology is the result of over 90 clinical studies and over 20 years of research. Your healthier life can begin today, and you can discover true age reversal. Age reversal, ladies and gentlemen. Please go to liveyoungerwithdoug.us. liveyoungerwithdoug.us, ladies and gentlemen. Get over there today. Or if you'd like, text my name, Doug, to 41372. Doug, text it, 41372. And get over to liveyoungerwithdoug.us. Get younger, feel younger. I'm doing it. I'm wearing this patch. I feel great. And so will you. God bless you, ladies and gentlemen. For the Republic. Cheers.
The Right Side with Doug Billings.
I want to tell you about the good people over at EMP Shield, electromagnetic pulse, ladies and gentlemen. It can fry your home electrical system or your vehicle's electrical system. But if you attach one of these, now this is for your breaker box at home. There's a smaller version that goes on your battery of your car, your vehicle, that will prevent it from being fried in the event of an electromagnetic pulse. Because as you know, thanks to Administrator Biden, many people coming across the border now who don't exactly have the best of intentions. Protect yourself. EMPshield.com. Get huge discounts over there if you use the promo code Doug. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. Right Side with Doug Billings. All right. Coming to you from the middle of the fruited plain of the United States, where we are asking that you head over to DougBillings.us. We talked about that before the break. Also, the phone lines are open, 901-316-8404, 901-316-8404. If you want to join the program, please feel free. Love to have you talk with us here. Okay, President Trump, vice presidential picks. Probably there could be an argument made that this might be the most substantial, the most meaningful and important vice presidential picks in recent history. At least for conservatives, if not for both political parties, really. And to set this up, I want to remind you that as conservatives in America and in the Republican Party that President Trump has rebranded as the Make America Great Again movement, and it's not, we are never ashamed to say that. The MAGA movement is a good thing. It surmises and it rebrands the conservative movement away from the likes of Mitt Romney, right? Away from that whole establishment mindset of the old Republican Guard. So we are not just interested as conservatives for a vice president to be involved only for 2024. We are interested in a VP who is young enough, dynamic enough, passionate enough, conservative enough to be the standard bearer for what we're going after in 2028 and in 2032. So right away, that eliminates a swath of people that a lot of people want. Okay, I know a lot of people like General Flynn. I like General Flynn. He's a friend of mine. A lot of people out there want and think that General Flynn would be a good president. Perhaps he would. I've told you this before. The vice presidency would be wasted on General Michael Flynn. He's too important for that role. And I do not mean any disrespect towards any of the people who have been vetted and have been publicly, at least, named as a potential vice president for Donald Trump. I don't mean any disrespect. Michael Flynn, General Michael Flynn, has much more important things to do than to go over and shake hands at dignitary meetings and be involved in the role of the typical, at least, vice presidency. So that being said, in normal circumstances and in usual presidential elections, the vice presidency really doesn't move the needle very much with regards to who people will vote for. To a degree, yes, but by and large, not much. But this year, it's different, and it is hugely different. President Trump has said in previous interviews that he would let us know who his vice presidential pick would be at the Republican National Convention. That's coming up on July 11th, and the sentencing date is then. But at this convention, will he do that? Will he wait until the convention because he's going to be sentenced on the 11th, or will he be forced then to name his vice president before the convention? What's the best strategy? So there are some very real possibilities, as we talked about here, that he may face jail time. At the very least, maybe house arrest, probation, or so forth, something that will curtail, if not prevent, him from campaigning for the office. Now, I think he'll make the decision made before the convention. That's where I'm landing on this. July 11th, again, the sentencing date, 3 days, that's just 3 days before the convention kicks off in Milwaukee. So you look at the legal experts, quote unquote experts, they're all over the place with this thing. Some of them think that he's going to face jail time. Some of them think he's not. Some of them just confinement in some form or fashion at home. Some think jail, some not. They're all over the place. So I look at the landscape, and I look at the way that this radical left persecution has acted ever since he came down the escalator in 2015 to announce his candidacy for the election in 2020, right? It's been resist, resist, resist. And I just am not convinced that the radical left, who have gone to such great effort and diabolical intent to ruin a man politically and financially, will just say, okay, great, going to stop here. We got the conviction. That's all we want. Now, there may be a mixed bag within that party. Behind closed doors, I'm sure, and I'm positive, there is a little bit of discussion. There's debate. There is disagreement about the way to go forward with the strategy that we see. I think there are some who want jail time in that party. I think there are some who don't think it's wise. I think the smart ones in that group are looking at what's happened already. President Trump is a political martyr because of that kangaroo court verdict that came down out of New York. And that has skyrocketed his rolls. Don't be fooled by the legacy media polls that are coming out saying that Biden's picked up 3 points and Trump's dropped 1 point. Do not be fooled by this. Trump, first of all, really, do you think they're going to give any credit to a poll that involves Trump being way ahead? Trump is leading in every one of the battleground states. He's up by at least 8% nationally. So this is an important choice, the vice presidency for Trump. It's also important for Biden because, look who he has now. Biden is 81 years old. He's older than any other sitting president in the history of our republic. He's got dementia. These are not cheap fakes that we're seeing every day. Every day we see something. Today, this morning, I put something out on social. Biden couldn't even get into, the Beast, his Secret Service provided SUV. He can barely walk up to the door, much less lift his leg to get in to the vehicle. So these things happen every day. They're not cheap fakes. We see them live and in real time. They're not being edited. So I'm sorry, White House spokesperson Jean-Pierre, we're not buying it. We are not buying it. Look at the evidence of the obvious. He can't walk up the steps. He falls down at West Point. He falls off of his bike. All of these things, we have seen it time and time again. It is real, and it's not fake. So the consensus of, I think, the majority of the Democrat Party within their hierarchy is that the Biden-Harris ticket will remain intact for the election, folks. I do. In spite of this, what we just saw, in spite of those clips of the Dementia Joe episodes that have happened almost since day one of his presidency, I think that the Biden-Harris ticket is going to remain intact. So that means there's speculation from people who are looking at this thing going, well, wait a minute. If they put that ticket forward now, what are the chances that there might be some sort of a last-minute substitution, a last-minute replacement at their Democratic National Convention that's going to be taking place in Chicago on August 19th through the 22nd? What if they try to pull one of those things and they remove Biden? Okay, and I'll talk about it. They may well do that. They're not going to embarrass Biden. They may give him a golden parachute of some sort and let him out. On the other hand, he is continually saying that he's going to be in the race. So it's hard to backtrack Biden's own comments against what some of the members of that hierarchy might want and try to appeal to and for in private meetings. And then you've got Kamala. Nobody likes Kamala, not even the Democrats. They didn't like her in the Senate. Whoever Trump picks, you've got to like our chances there, because you would like to think that whoever Trump picks as the vice presidential candidate, and if there are vice presidential debates, whoever our side has is just going to clean the floor with Kamala. She's not smart. She's not bright. She cannot think on her feet. So we will see. But let's look at Trump. Let's talk about that. What will happen? A lot of speculation about Biden. We'll let them take care of their own business. We know who our guy is, Donald Trump. He turned 78 years old on June 14th. He's got his wits about him, as we say. He does not fall up the steps. He does not fall down the steps. He does not slur his words. He does not freeze up. He does not wander off at state meetings, at G7 meetings, or at D-Day celebrations. And as far as his running mates are concerned, at least among the names who have been already released, their ages range from late 30s to late 60s, with several of them in their mid-50s. So just a few days after this temporary conviction was handed down from the kangaroo court, President Trump publicly named a handful of vice presidential contenders, which shifted the news cycle away from the kangaroo court. And that's smart. That's typical Trump. He releases news to divert the media's attention away from what else was going on. In this case, the kangaroo court, right? So now the vice presidential choices gained a little bit of momentum and had the news cycle for a few days. President Trump is smart that way. And his campaign is good at guiding the narrative, at depicting and deciding when and what issues will be talked about. So with regards to the names that were released for vice president, it's not as if, by the way, it's not as if Trump is saying that these are the ones of this list that I've just released. These are the only ones that I'm considering. No. That's not it. He might be, as I have said, he might be floating a buoy. He might be floating the idea of these names to see what kind of a reaction they get from the public. Trump is famous for doing this kind of thing. He does it often. He releases information just to see what the feedback might be. But I'm telling you, based on conversations, at least that I've been lucky and blessed enough to be involved with, there are Republican vice presidential nominees who are being considered at this very moment who have not been made public. So his public statements are one thing. And to be honest, some of the purposeful leaks that are coming out of the Trump camp with regards to the vice president choices are those buoys or trial balloons, whatever you want to call them. They're tests to see what kind of response we, the people, give to each of those choices. And I think it's smart because they take that in, they look at it, and they see. So I'm suggesting that President Trump may just pick somebody who has not yet been mentioned in the media, in the public square, on this show, or anyone's show, because if there's anybody out there who's telling you they know who President Trump is going to pick, they're lying to you. Nobody knows but President Trump. All right, ladies and gentlemen, up against another break. Wow, where does time go? I want to remind you the phone lines are open, 901-316-8404, 901-316-8404. You're going to go into a glorious trip into capitalism, and I'm going to remind you one more time about DougBillings.us. Please head over there, DougBillings.us. Click on that donate tab so that we can continue to bring you the show. I will be right back after this break. Stay with me. Cheers.
Hello, I'm Brandon House. Would you like to gain access to over 20 years of my radio shows, TV shows, my books? I've written 15 books, and most of those books are ebooks now. And we have conference DVDs, conferences where we filmed our conferences at the Ozarks, literally starting 20 years ago. It's all available in our archived vault. All you have to do is go to worldviewtube.com/vault, worldviewtube.com/vault, and for a reasonable monthly fee, you gain access to over 20 years of Christian worldview programming, news, information, books, documentaries, and a powerful search engine. And folks, it's a great way not only to educate yourself, equip yourself, but it's a big way that you can help fund our continuation as a broadcast network. Please check it out. worldviewtube.com/vault, worldviewtube.com/vault, and help us continue pushing out a Christian worldview.
You guys, I'm telling you right now, you're going to see a special on here, Brandon. You're the first one that is showing this right now. That Percale Sheets, remember that we had a box store canceled their order again. Okay, those Percale Sheets, you see the original price there on the King or on the Queen. I believe it's, I can't read.
$99.98.
And then they were on sale on TV for much?
$39.98.
Now they're $34.98. So you take, and same with the King, you have $119 on sale everywhere in the country for $49.98. Here for Brandon for B66, $39.98. This is the lowest price you're going to see forever. This is it, the MyPillow bed sheet sale there. And then if you back it up, you guys. And then you're going to see also that, remember the extravaganza with the $25 MyPillows? This is where it all started. We've sold over 83 million MyPillows, the premium there with the new Giza tick. Doesn't matter if it's King or Queen, $25, any loft level. You guys, this is what keeps my factory going. This helps everybody, okay? And it helps you get the best sleep in history.
Hello, I'm Brandon House. Melissa and I have been taking Bella Grace, this powerful elixir, since last fall, 2023. The results have been amazing. My hands would crack and bleed, deep cuts and cracks every winter for years. No matter what we did, we couldn't get them to stop cracking and bleeding. This year, I took Bella Grace, no cracking, no bleeding. My acid reflux, gone. Haven't had to take a Pepsid. My hair growth, the last 2 times I had my hair cut, the lady had to use thinning shears on my hair. That's amazing. We've also received incredible feedback from you, our listening audience, and the impact it's had for you. This is loaded with astaxanthin. That's a powerful antioxidant. Collagen, but top grade collagen. Studies show 95% of it is being absorbed in the body because of the way they develop it. Then we have something called cat's claw. That's an anti-inflammatory from a vine in Peru. It's the bark, and it's an anti-inflammatory. There are about 80 clinical trials on Bella Grace. Please get a subscription now and save. MelissaHouseBG.com.
Welcome back, Right Side, Doug Billings. We meet over here in Determined Prayer and Determined Patriotism. That's how we roll over here. Determined Patriotism is the hard work of it all, the saving of the Republic, up to we the people, getting involved in our local levels. Determined Prayer, obviously, praying for the return of the divine providence of God. I think we're in for the reawakening of a lifetime. We are waking up from the nightmare again. The daily dose of hope here, right? We are not on our deathbed. We are in a nightmare. There's a big difference between the two. We will and are waking up from the nightmare. So we will endeavor to work hard for the conservative movement to continue. It is happening all around the world. Europe, conservatives winning elections. We see it, Louisiana, the 10 Commandments, liberal heads exploding because of what happened down there. And it is as it should be. As it should be. All right, back to Trump and his vice presidential pick. Someone who has not yet been named, I think, is going to be the person named. What do you think? You want to talk about it? You got it. Who do you think is going to be the vice president? Who do you want to be the vice president? Call in. Talk to me about it. 901-316-8404. 901-316-8404. Let me know what you think about President Trump's campaign and his choice for vice president, because I think he's floating some balloons here, some trial balloons with the release of these names. Do I think it's going to be Marco Rubio? No, I don't think it's going to be Marco Rubio. You know, if it didn't present a strategic dilemma with regards to the Electoral College, I still like Ron DeSantis. I advocated for him at the beginning. They had a lively campaign. They said things about each other, Trump and DeSantis. But still, again, you think about the criteria that I'm looking for: someone young enough, someone passionate enough to not only be with us in 2024, but to then be the standard bearer going forward in 2028 and 2032. So I still like Ron, for all of you out there. There's other people on the list, too, that I like. Who do you like? 901-316-8404. So remember, a little history here for you. Let's go back in time to 2016 and the choice of Mike Pence. We have to talk about this for a minute because he was named 3 days before the Republican convention back then. And although the trending logic of the day back then was that Pence could attract and would attract the evangelical Christian voting bloc that President Trump needed. And it's probably true that Pence did that, yes. But Pence was not Donald Trump's choice. Mike Pence was an establishment choice that was given to Donald Trump, forced upon him in a way. Today is a different story. President Trump knows the game from the inside out. So he will have a completely different approach to how he governs from the White House. You can count on that. That, I can tell you, is the truth. So in 2016, though, he did not. He didn't know the game thoroughly from the inside. How could he? He hadn't been there before. He was surrounded by establishment. And you look back, and I love President Trump, and he's our guy, but he was surrounded by a lot of people who were not loyal to him and did not have his best interests, and therefore the best interests of the American people at heart. We all know that. He was surrounded by some disloyalty there. But I think that this time his presidency is going to be based on some of the following things. I think first, a sense of urgency, a sense of expediency. He is going to get things done quickly. Much of it is going to be with the executive pen, of course. But I think also he's going to cut through some of the deep state nonsense, the bureaucracy. Don't be surprised we see some mass firings from within the establishment, the established bureaucracies. And it could be that entire departments are gutted, purged, and cleansed. And who among us thinks that that's not necessary? It is necessary. I have said, and I know many of you out there like General Michael Flynn. He is a friend of mine. He's been on the program. You see him here often. And I know many of you out there, millions of you, admire the guy. And if you haven't seen it, by the way, I'll just say this because it's a great movie. The Flynn movie. You've got to go see it. FlynnMovie.com. Go check out this movie. What the man went through is absolutely diabolical. And so he knows, Flynn does, as we say, where the bodies are, right? He knows who is responsible for the weaponization that he and others have faced. So I think that he's going to be better served as sort of a secretary of accountability. That's my term. I don't know what they'll end up calling it. It would be nice if they call. I think it has a nice ring to it. General Flynn, the Secretary of Accountability, where he'll go in and gut, cleanse, and purge these agencies and these bureaucracies, key among them the Department of Justice. And don't be surprised if within the first year of his presidency, the United States under Donald Trump will withdraw from the United Nations. Don't be surprised. You'll see also, I think, him getting to the point of cutting back, if not completely eliminating, the Department of Education, the Department of Energy, and the Department of Interior. Just bookmark this, save it, let's play it back, let's all of us revisit this after the election, within the first 90 to 100 days after the election, and let's see if what I'm telling you comes true. But as I see it, I think that's what he will do. This is not going to be a one-term lame duck presidency. I can promise you that. And I think then next he's going to look at domestic and foreign implications. I think he is going to pull back in a lot of ways. I think that you'll see American isolationism begin to take a dominant foreign policy posture. Because we've got to wrap our head around what's going on here domestically. We have got to wrap our head around and deal with what the Biden administration has done with regards to purposefully cascading upon us chaos, especially with regards to illegal immigrants. So we have got to say, sorry, Europe, sorry, the rest of the world. We've got to deal with America. Now, that doesn't mean we take our eye completely off of it, because here's the thing. Americans, especially American conservatives, are smart. We're certainly smarter than the liberals. Now, liberals aren't stupid, but we've got the advantage. So we can multitask. We can do several things at once. And I think that's what you'll see. But I think the focus is going to be on America first, especially with the domestic issues such as the illegal immigration issue. And yeah, I think the wall is part of it. He's got to get back on that and do it. I think life is another issue. I think that what we talked about at the beginning of the program, locking down with legislation the ability for illegals to become citizens in this country. We've got to lock that down. Otherwise, we're looking at a complete dilution and transformation away from what the founding fathers and God himself intended for this republic. I think also that there's a real chance that we'll see President Trump reverse the agreements by which Biden has chained us to with organizations such as the World Health Organization. I think that you're going to see us have a drastic and aggressive stance against globalism and the agenda that's being put forth by people like Klaus Schwab. I think that you're going to see that. I think President Trump this time around will not have a vice president that's forced upon him, but one who he chooses. It will be his choice alone. And I think that you'll see President Trump move swiftly to restore us. That means tariffs on foreign goods coming in and an elimination of the income tax. Watch for it. Watch for it. This republic was in many ways designed to be sustained by tariffs and by the money that foreigners and foreign countries would pay us to make their products available for sale, goods and service and so forth in this country. So watch for these things, because I think they're on the horizon of a next Trump administration, as it should be. As it should be, ladies and gentlemen. I think the short list of candidates for vice president, you know the ones that have been published, you know that. And you understand that it is something that we're going to have to deal with when it comes time to support the vice president. Now, for those of you leftover Nikki Haley fans, forget it. Never going to happen. Never. Nikki Haley is not a MAGA conservative. She is not your friend, ladies and gentlemen. The short list, you know it. The Senators, Tim Scott, South Carolina, Marco Rubio, Florida, not going to be it. J.D. Vance of Ohio. I like J.D. Vance. A lot of good things. And then you've got Doug Burgum out of North Dakota. Ron DeSantis is still on the list, ladies and gentlemen, and Ben Carson. Now, I like Ben Carson, but it's kind of like taking a sleeping pill with Bill. I like him, good guy, but maybe something else. So what are your thoughts? Let's continue to think about it over the weekend. I hope you have a great weekend. We're going to be back next Monday through Friday, 5 to 6 o'clock right here. And remember, DougBillings.us, ladies and gentlemen, DougBillings.us. Head over there, make a voluntary monthly recurring donation so that we can continue to come to you on this program. God bless you, ladies and gentlemen. Be safe. Take care of each other for the Republic. Cheers.